in terms of digitalization, in terms of transferring money. We do not have to touch money now. Many advancement has been done in India and outside India, and in every states of India and every part of India. But along with this advancement, there are some problems too. Problems like when we look into the individual states, when the states of individual, uh, the conditions, then the trauma, depression, frustration, anger, anxiety, addiction to some substance, etc., etc. The problems at family level, like conflicts, struggle among and between the siblings, parents and children, brother and brother, sister and sister, etc., etc. Even when we look into the society, there is a whole lot of fear, like war, terrorism, etc., etc. Even at the level of nature, we get to see lots of environmental problems. The new disease, the new viruses are there, and they are coming up very rapidly. Having said so, even in the past 2-3 decades, in terms of education, we are growing. We are growing in terms of the number of uh, universities, deemed universities, private universities, schools, and colleges. From a traditional, conventional classroom, we have reached to the smart classroom. Everything is on one click. We could access to the informations. We can interact with each other. Like this today's meeting is an example of it. All the custodian of education in India and the decision makers of the education in India sitting in the different places, but we all got connected through this internet technology. So this is something to ponder upon, because the educational infrastructure is increasing. The number of people who are going through the process of education is also increasing upon. At the same time, the problems at the family level, the problems at the societal levels are also increasing upon. So something is missing out. A crucial link is missing out. So today, I mean, that's the whole purpose of this today's meeting. So we all can discuss, deliberate, ponder upon the what is missing, and whatever is being missing, if we try to fill that link, then the education, which is supposed to make a student who can participate in the societal development and the national development, and in turn could contribute to the development of the world. So this is basically the purpose of the today's meeting. I welcome Dr. Surendra Singh ji, Additional Secretary UGC, uh, Archana Thakur Didi, Joint Secretary UGC, Gopu Kumar Bhaiya, Joint Secretary UGC and also the member of NCCIP, uh, Rajnish Jain ji, CVO UGC, and Rajnish Arora ji, NCCIP Chairperson, Shri Rajul Astana ji, NCUHV co-chairperson, and all the members of UGC, NCCIP, NCUHV, and all our vice chancellors of the central universities and the nominees of vice chancellors of the central university for this 2 hours meeting. With this, I would like to invite Dr. Surendra Singh ji, Additional Secretary UGC, for his opening remarks. So over to you.
Thank you very much, Umesh. Honorable Vice Chancellors, speakers of the today's workshop, Dr. Kumar Sambhav ji, I'm sorry, from UP Institute of Design, Professor Rajnish Arora ji, Chairman, National Coordinating Committee Induction Program, Dr. Gopu Kumar ji, Joint Secretary UGC, faculty members from various universities, my colleague from UGC and AICTE, members of the National Coordinating Committee Induction Program, and dear students. As we all know that national education policy is developed around a vision of education for achieving 3 main things: full human potential, developing an equitable and just society, and promoting national development. So for education to fulfill these aspirations, it has to be holistic. which should cover all aspects of human existence. And the education has to be value-based, which leads to harmony. Our graduates should develop the ability, and they should have a holistic world vision and perspective about life, which includes the individual, the family, the society, and the natural environment. The value based on that holistic world vision. And this essentially means that they should have clarity about their role or participation in ensuring harmony with oneself, the family, the institution, community, society, nation as a whole, the natural environment. So, and also they should have the skills for living in harmony in all aspects of life. So all these things are to be inculcated into our graduates. As we know that presently the focus of our students is basically to gain knowledge and acquire skills, and their major focus is to get employment so that they can lead a good and prosperous life and with the physical amenities and materialistic life. This, as Umeshji has already told, that this lead to various problems, and somewhere we are losing the connect. And what education means, what should we achieve for by giving education? It's not just knowledge or the skills or the employment we get out of it. So it has to be holistic. Our national education policy has that's what has emphasized very clearly that education has to be holistic. So keeping all this in view, the today's workshop on universal human values for holistic value-based education has been organized with UGC and AICTE. And this workshop presents a broad universal framework for acquiring holistic value-based education and for realizing full human potential. So I think I will not take much time. And with these words, I conclude my remarks and hand over the mic to Shri Umesh Datta. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, sir, for bringing uh, the conclusion very concretely that there is a need of holistic value-based education to realize the aspirations of NEP 2020. And thank you for all your efforts and initiative for the same. So there's a need of holistic value-based education. I mean, it is very clear now. And what should be the content of holistic value-based education and the process of the holistic value-based education to take us on this particular point. Now, I would like to invite Dr. Kumar Sambhavji, a national resource person of Universal Human Values. Namaste, Kumar Bhaiya.
Namaste, Bhaiya. I hope I am properly audible.
Yes, very clear.
So I am sharing the slides from my side. I hope the slide is also visible.
Yes, Bhaiya.
Namaste, everybody. My regards to one and all. So in this session, we are going to talk about the meaning of holistic development and the role of education therein. And as we go along, we'll also be talking about the basic human aspiration and its fulfillment.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. I mean, you can take like 50 minutes, 55 minutes, and if possible, you can also interact and take some questions.
Okay.
Yes.
So the content of this session would be, we'll talk about holistic development and the role of education. And this will also help us to get an idea about the content and process of value education. And since we all are there, that we have a proper vision of education, and at the same time we need to see how this education can be the building block of development of society in a holistic sense. So through this session we'll also get an idea of the overall transformation that is desirable at the level of individual as well as at the level of society, and having this clarity
This voice is not clear. There is no voice.
Short also. Short.
This is from Central Institute of Karnataka. We are not receiving, getting this voice.
Sir, even slide we can't see.
Now it is okay. Fine.
Yeah, Kumar Bhaiya.
They say they have some.
Okay, I guess there is some internet connection issue at Kumar Sambho Bhaiya's end. And I express my deep apology for slipping out the program. In fact, before Kumar Bhaiya, I supposed to invite Gopu Kumar Bhaiya for his talk. So can I request Gopu Kumar ji, Joint Secretary UGC and the member NCCIP?
Yeah.
Kindly accept my apology, sir.
Thank you, sir. Respected Vice Chancellors, officials from UGC and AICTE, the Chairman and members, National Coordination Committee Induction Program. Very good morning to all of you. As we can see, the holistic education has been the hallmark of national education policy, and the value-based education is integral to it. Even before the announcement of national education policy, UGC and the AICTE has been taking many initiatives like faculty induction program, teacher and student induction program, like that. UGC, as part of implementing the quality mandate set for improving the standards of higher education, set 10 verticals, and out of these 10, one is the integration of inculcation of human values and professional ethics. And UGC has come out with a framework called Mulya Pravah in this regard, and already this has been communicated to all universities. Similarly, AICTE has also been taken many initiatives, and they have been organizing many programs for technical institutions, specifically for teachers and students. And considering this, the reach of these programs, if taken to universities, because most of the students are from the university system, UGC and AICTE has decided to come together and take this cause forward. And in this regard, on 29th March 22, a team from AICTE under the Honorable Vice Chairman AICTE and the Chairman of the National Coordination Committee for Student Induction Program and other members met Honorable Chairman of UGC, and they chalked out a program to take this forward. And based on that, the next meeting was held at AICTE office on 8th April between the officials from UGC and AICTE and the NCCIP, and they planned a roadmap to take this program forward. And based on that, a one-day face-to-face workshop for UGC leadership and key officers have been organized at the AICTE. And the next program organized by UGC was for the HRDC directors and deputy directors on 7th May 2022. And nearly 80 directors and deputy directors participated in this program, and it was a great success because of the coordinated effort between UGC and the AICTE and the NCCIP. Like this, UGC has been planning to organize many similar such programs through its regional offices and other means. And definitely the reach of these programs will be much higher when we take all these universities together and to take this education forward, human values education. And the further roadmap for this is, for example, UGC has been developing, based on the national education policy, UGC has been developing a curricular program and credit structure for a restructured undergraduate program. the 4-year for a holistic education 4-year undergraduate program. The curricular structure is under preparation now. That will have certain credits for these universal human values also. And once it is notified, and universities will be adopting these courses as part of their 4-year undergraduate program also. So this is one thing we would like to request the universities to adopt these curricular structure, curricular framework and credit structure as and when it is notified. And the next step would be universities can play a major role in taking this education forward by establishing a universal human values cell at their respective universities. And also they can ensure that the affiliated colleges under them can establish similar cells in their respective colleges, and both universities and colleges can appoint a coordinator to coordinate these programs. And we are also exploring the possibilities of giving credential to teachers who are participating in these faculty development programs. That we'll be looking into. So like this, there are so many programs UGC will be working on to take this universal human values education forward. And hopefully we can achieve much bigger milestones in the coming months in this regard. With these words, I stop here and hand over to Jadavji. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Dr. Gopakumar, just I'm a Vice Chancellor, Central State of Karnataka.
Yeah.
For this value-based education credits, the UGC is preparing any course material?
It's already there is a guideline. Mulya Pravah, we have already published. That has been as per the NEP 2020. We are revising it to incorporate the changes as per the NEP 2020. That will come out very soon now.
For the next academic year, we require this material. So if it comes, then it will be useful to us.
Yes, sir. Surely, we are working on that. Yeah.
Maybe I can have one question, please.
Yes, sir.
Actually, when you are going for a 4-year program,
yeah,
this is not common to all the students.
Yeah.
Instead of that, like NCC or any other environment and other program,
yeah,
if you are giving that common program to all the students, because holistic is common to all the students. A particular student is going to learn with the 4-year degree. That's only you are going to develop a group of students.
Yeah.
But my view is it should be available for all the students, like a compulsory program like NCC environment or something like that. I think it will be helpful to all the students. It's my view.
Yes, sir, you are correct, sir. We are planning on those lines only. 4-year undergraduate program I mentioned because the multiple entry and exit system. Those students who leave at 3rd year will be having a undergraduate degree. So they will also undergo this universal human values education.
But Dr. Gopakumar ji, this is Professor K.V. Das from Jharkhand here. I have just one submission here only. When you talk about all the universities should establish one university human value cells, that is there. We have all ethics committees here, and ethics committees, the references are very limited, very precise. So ethics can then ethics committees mandate, can it be extended to include all this? That is one, number one. And number two, that you talk about the 4-year integrated courses, the human values, etc. That these are already there. Probably this will be embedded in all the rest other papers where we are offering. So this will be purely an optional, maybe a part of compulsory, and some value addition courses will be there, which will be very optional.
Yes, sir, you are right, sir. Actually, this value-based education is going to be the integral part of the undergraduate program from now onwards. And regarding the other question, the extending the same ethics committee for this purpose also, that probably once the new guidelines of Mulya Pravah comes out, that will answer this, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Gopkumarji, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. We have already one paper on professional ethics for research scholars, MPhil and PhD.
Yeah.
So should we float another paper as per these guidelines, or can we continue with that paper?
Yes, sir. Once the new guidelines is out, then you will be able to follow this. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you for that brief, the history of UHV and the potential steps going to be there from the GC side. Thank you so much. Now, I would like to call upon Dr. Kumar Sambhavji, a National Resource Persons for Universal Human Value from UPID Noida. Kumar Bhaiya?
Ji, I'm sharing the slide from my side now.
Okay.
So should I restart Bhaiya, or should I continue from where I left?
You can restart Bhaiya.
Okay.
There was some technical glitch, so your voice was not audible.
I hope it is audible completely now.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Bhaiya. So namaste one and all. We are going to talk about holistic development and the role of education therein. And as we discuss this, we'll also talk about the basic human aspiration and its fulfillment. And we'll see how education can fulfill the basic aspiration of a human being in continuity universally. So we are going to talk about the holistic development and the role of education. And this will also give us an idea about the content and process of value education. So already, since UGC has disseminated the information, so we are aware that UGC has been taking a step in terms of promoting value education. And in this session, I would like to be clear about the content and process of value education. This will also give us an idea of the overall transformation that is desirable at the level of individual as well as at the level of society. And would like to see how education can be the entry point of a tradition of living for human society, so that people are able to live with fulfillment, they are able to live with happiness and prosperity generation by generation. And this is what education is meant for. So we'll talk about that. Now, let me say at the very outset that whatever I am sharing from my side is a proposal for us to explore, and you can verify it. So whatever I am saying, no need to assume it as true or false. It may tally with one's supposition or one's own earlier assumptions, or may not also tally. But that is not the purpose. The purpose is to take it as a proposal and start verifying it. And how to verify? So we need to verify on our own right. We need to verify on our own right. And when we go to verify, there is something called natural acceptance, something which is innate to each one of us. And we can refer whatever is being said as a proposal here to our natural acceptance and try to verify this. So no need to assume it as true or false, but rather enter into this process of self-exploration. Some mic is on. So
kindly.
Yeah. So this whole session is a process of dialogue. There is some limitation of time. That's why we'll try to enter into dialogue as much as possible in the limited time. But essentially, in the workshop, what we do, we enter into a process of dialogue. And the dialogue starts between the resource person and the participants to start with. But it soon becomes a dialogue within oneself. So you'll see that there are two realities associated with each one of us. One, what I am, and the other is what I really want to be. Now, what I really want to be is my natural acceptance, my natural self. And it may be the case that these are two different realities. What I am may not be the same as what I really want to be. There may be a gap. So the essence is that, can we initiate this dialogue between what I am and what I really want to be? So what do you feel? You can respond in the chat box. These two realities, what I am and what I really want to be, are these two the same or different? How do you feel? So what I am makes my behavior, my work pattern, my interaction with the society, my role in the organization, including all that is involved in my living. And what I really want to be is my natural acceptance. So do you feel the two are the same or different? And do you think that there is a need to initiate a dialogue between the two realities? Maybe you can respond in the chat box. Or you can also unmute and share a bit about this. So this is the purpose, to initiate this dialogue between what I am and what I really want to be. And you see that in this workshop or in this session, it is going to be further strengthened, this internal dialogue. Now, when we look at the aspiration of a human being, so all of us want to live, isn't it? This is one aspiration. But we just don't want to live. We want to live with fulfillment, isn't it? And there also see that we want to live with continuous fulfillment. Now, to fulfill the aspiration of living, we want to have physical facility. So to survive, we need food, clothes, shelter, all these facilities, isn't it? But when we go to live with fulfillment, we also want to have relationship. We want to have a family. We want to have a society around. We want to feel related so that we feel fulfilled. But you can see that when you go to fulfill the relationship, that may not be continuous. We may feel hurt. We may hurt others. We may feel unhappy in our relationship. There may be problems in the relationship. So to have the continuity of this fulfillment, we need to have right understanding. So if you look at the basic human aspiration, it is to live with continuous fulfillment. And these are three basic requirements: right understanding, relationship, and physical facility. I hope you all are able to see this. Now we'll explore this one by one further. Now, to live, we see that physical facility is necessary for human being. We all have taken our breakfast. We'll have our lunch. Okay, we have so many facilities at home, in the office. So physical facilities are of course necessary, never denying that. But you see that for human being, physical facility is necessary, but not adequate. If you look at an animal, it can be adequate for an animal, largely adequate. Let's say if there is a cow in the house, you provide fodder to the cow twice a day. You provide water thrice a day. You provide shelter to the cow. The cow is very much comfortable. It will just sit there and chew the cud. But if you do the same thing with our child, okay, then we'll see that there's some problem there. For the child, we'll see that it is not only the facility that is required, the child also requires our affection, our care, our guidance, isn't it? So for human being, physical facility is necessary, but not adequate. You'll also see one thing, that we keep on working for physical facilities most of the time. When we do not have some physical facility, we feel uncomfortable, unhappy. But once we have the physical facility, we simply forget about it and start thinking about 100 other things. Does it happen or not? Let's say if you do not have a house of your own today, then having a house of one's own occupies our imagination most of the time. But once we have a house of our own, we simply forget about it and start thinking about the various amenities, various facilities that should be there in the house, and so on. It goes on multiplying. So we simply forget what we have and we start thinking about what we do not have. That is another thing to note. A very important example here is that if you start thinking about the clothes, you'll see that when we do not have some kind of clothes that we are desiring for, we feel uncomfortable. But once we have that kind of clothes, we simply forget about it. And that's how when the market opens up a pandemic, we may enter into the mall and start purchasing new clothes, seldom being aware how many pairs of clothes we have at home. So we'll see that physical facility is necessary for human being, but it is not adequate, isn't it? Now let us check another thing here. Now I think we can enter into a dialogue here on this very point. Now just let us try to find out what is required over and above physical facility. So if you look at the unhappiness in our families, what do you think? Is it more due to lack of physical facility or more due to lack of fulfillment in relationship? Can we have some sharing on this? Either in the chat box or you can unmute and share. What do you feel? Is it more due to lack of physical facility or more due to lack of fulfillment in the relationship? Any opinion on this? Any sharing on this?
If I'm allowed to continue, if I'm allowed to come in, please.
Ji.
This is Professor Farooq from Central Institute of Kashmir. Definitely, the physical facilities available are adequate, I suppose. And what makes us not happy, uncomfortable, living our lives continuously is because of the lack of relationship and lack of contentment of more of emotional kind of things rather than the physical kind of things. So I suppose what makes us happy really is if we enjoy the emotional and sentimental relationships with people around, including our people at the home, at the workplace and all that. As far as physical facilities are concerned, nature has bestowed all of us with plenty of things. But so I suppose what is more important for the fulfillment of living a fulfilled life is enjoying the interactive and emotional kind of that contentment that we possibly lack, and that makes a cause of concern for all of us. And that is the basic reason for not a gratifying living and not a gratifying life. Thank you very much.
Yeah, nice sharing, sir. Anybody else would like to share on this? Any other opinion? Any other sharing?
Yeah, I want to tell something.
Ji.
This is Professor Krishnan. Yeah, yes, most of the time, lack of facility is not going to affect our happiness. But lack of fulfillment of relationship, because if you have living in a city, living in a village, or living in a relationship or surrounding the people, always we are not getting that what you called a good relationship. Unexpectedly they are doing some mistake, then that happiness will go, because we are having the belongingness with every people, not only the people living in the in the street around us and everything, but maintaining that is very difficult in my view.
Ji, sir. Ji. Rightly said.
Hello, sir. This is Professor Dronal from Central Institute of Karnataka.
Yes, sir.
Sir, happiness is more a mental makeup, emotional makeup, psychological makeup, and spiritual makeup. And lack of physical facility also contributes to unhappiness. We cannot say that we will be happy if we don't have any physical facility at all. And this fulfillment in relationship is very crucial, because whenever we are in relations, we have to fulfill each other's desires and expectations, but there is no end to it. And because there is no end to it, and all our effort to fulfill the expectations will not yield the right result. So happiness at the end of the day depends upon our giving to the world than expecting anything from the world. Thank you, sir.
Nice. I think we are coming to the point, sir. Very nice, sir. Professor Victor Babu, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I would also like to add one more point, if I am permitted to. Yeah, actually, happiness also depends upon our mental makeup. Because if we are happy from inside, then I think in any circumstances we'll try to be happy. Although I'm not saying that physical facilities will not matter, they'll matter a lot. But it depends on your thinking and also on the processes which are going around. So if your mental thinking is towards your well-being or being happy, then you will try to be happy in any given circumstances. So this is also important, because we cannot isolate mental happiness with physical happiness. Both go hand in hand. So whatever is there, it depends on your relationship also. It depends on physical facility also, because happiness we have to see in a totality. We cannot make some kind of partitions that this situation will make me happy, this situation will not make me happy. So it has to be seen in a holistic manner. That's what you are talking. Thank you.
Yeah. Nice sharing, ma'am. Any other opinion?
Sir, just I would like to add something.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes we feel that happiness is a state of mind and our perception. Because always some persons they are aspiring for more and more things, many and many things. So it it will never make them happy. And there are some persons, whatever they have, they are contented enough and they are happy. So it is a state of mind also in our aspirations also that makes a difference.
May I say something?
I think.
Yes,
hello.
Rajneesh ji, see, I am Katimani here. There is one philosophy in Jain philosophy that is aparigraha. Before that, it is there in tribal ethos and Puranas, tribal system also. So we have become, our society has become more consumer society, where satisfaction never be happen because we believe in more and more. So our Indian philosophy and tribal philosophy as well as Jain philosophy, they are focusing on, even our Indian society focused on, जो हमको मिला है उसमें खुश रहो, हमको आगे मिलने वाला है. That is only possible. Thank you.
Ji, I'll come to all these points, sir. Yes, any other sharing? Nice. So we can see that physical facility is necessary. So we are not denying that. And that's why in the beginning only we said that to live, we want to have physical facility and it is necessary, right? But not adequate. And we can also see that there is a need for relationship. And in fact, the sharing as it came, it also says that we need something above relationship. We'll try to see what that is, which can ensure happiness within oneself. So we can see that the unhappiness that we are seeing in our families today, it is not due to lack of physical facility more, but it is more due to lack of fulfillment in the relationship. So these two things are necessary. We want to have relationship with human being, want to have fulfilling relationship with human being. We also want to have physical facility, and we are able to fulfill the need for physical facility with the nature. In fact, as sir was mentioning about aparigraha, so that essentially means that I need to be able to make out the need for physical facility rightly. Unless I am able to see what it is needed for, is it needed for me or the body? And maybe there is some sound there, we can mute it.
Next associate will be there. If there is no professor, no, the professor can be there. But he cannot.
I think we can mute the mic.
Yeah, that's right.
So we need to make out how much physical facility is required. We also need to make out what would be the right processes to ensure the availability of physical facility when we interact with the rest of nature. So we'll talk about all this. In fact, when we come to the full workshop, we'll talk about all this in detail, but we can very much see at the outset that we require physical facility as well as we require relationship, isn't it? Now going further, we'll see that although we have recognized the need for relationship, but still such situations may arise in the family. We do get into arguments, opposition, fights, even in the family, with close friends, with colleagues at work, in the marketplace. Maybe some mic is unmuted. With colleagues at work, in the marketplace. And we'll see that every time we have a fight, we want to resolve it. So there may be such issues in the family. There may be such issues. Dr. Najma, I think you can mute yourself. Ji, ma'am. And every time we have such issues in the family or in the organization, we want to resolve it. And we do feel sorry for that. We try to patch up. We promise not to do that again in the future. And we want to have fulfilling relationship. But in spite of all our desire for having fulfilling relationship, we again enter into such situations. So even though we don't want to, a fight may take place once again. And what happens here, we'll see, we try to find faults with the other. So we want the other to improve, and the other is also pointing out figures at ourselves, and we are being said that yes, we need to improve. And this kind of situation keeps on happening time and again. And you will see that almost it may happen every week or every month. And let us find out whether this is happening or not. What do you think? Is this happening? Is this happening in our families? Is this happening in our organization? Yeah, Professor Rajiv Mohan, you have raised your hand. Professor Rajiv. Okay. So let us find out whether these incidences of reaction, not speaking to the other, having arguments, debates, and sometimes situations such as divorces, are these rising or coming down? Are these increasing or decreasing? And let us try to also explore our close relationships in the family, with friends, in the workplace, in the society. So our relation with the spouse, with children, with our in-laws, with our friends, with our colleagues, with our subordinates, with our superiors, whether these all things are happening or not. And we see that the education today is on the rise. Okay, the literacy, if you see, has come to such a level which was not there in the history. So on one hand, the education is on the rise. More and more people are getting educated, getting literate. But at the same time, such incidences of reactions, arguments, debates, divorces are also on the rise. Now, if you look at the West, where we said that a lot of development has taken place, even if you try to look at the countries which have been ranked in the top positions of the happiest nations, the way they define the happiness, you see that the divorces may be much more than in our country. So you see that in such countries which are termed to be the happiest nations or the most developed nations, the divorce rates may be above 40%, 50%, while in our country it may be below 3%. So this is something strange to observe, that on one hand, the education and so-called development is going up. On the other hand, the problems in the relationships are also going up. So it is very much important to find out that in spite of our acceptance for relationship, why is it happening? Why is it happening? Can somebody share upon this? Why is it happening like this? That the education is rising, but on the same time, at the same time, the problems are also rising, particularly in the relationships. And fulfilling relationships has become a very challenging task these days. Yeah, Professor Katimani wanted to say something.
Yes, because we are unhappy with a good education, because in our education we don't have pleasures, we don't have emotional connection. So emotional connection and education, now they are separate. That's what NEP is talking about. How our ethos and Puranas can connect with the society, and human relations are more important than money, degree, and so on. Thank you.
Very
nice. I would also like to support the idea which Professor Katimani has already floated, that because education has no connect with the internal happiness of the person, and the person or the student, he or she is not aware of what their capacities are and where they should go. So unless they know their potential, they know their line, they know their direction, the education will not make them happy. Rather, it will be a burden on them, that they have to take that kind of education and they have to be a part of that. So it's necessary to know your call, to know what is your potential and where do you stand, and then make a choice. So as Professor Katimani said, I am sharing his opinion only, that NEP is going to provide this kind of facility to the students, that from the beginning they know their potential. If the education is as per the potential, I am very sure the student will also be very happy, and the instructor or teacher imparting that kind of education will also be very happy. So this kind of education will improve the atmosphere and make happiness possible. Like I know one college in Delhi, that Ramanujam College, they have started a department of happiness, and they are doing very well in that. So what was the need to establish the department of happiness? To address these issues which you are raising in this platform. Thank you.
Nice, ma'am. In fact, in education, we do need to talk about happiness. It has to be an essential component of our syllabus. We do need to talk about relationship, isn't it? And you'll see that certain things which matter basically to our life, we have kept them out of syllabus, and we are just talking about physical facilities today. And that's why this kind of scenario is emerging, where the family. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Well, I agree with Professor Annapurna, and I would just like to add that we started a course, a certificate course on happiness, just to resolve these issues. And the second thing is that as we were talking about people becoming literate in the families. So when people in the family, they are becoming literate, then I think that their expectations are also rising. Earlier, there was only one person in the family who was literate and they used to run the family. But now when all our members, they are educated, then all of them, they have their expectations. Now, our policy should aim to appreciate the expectations of the others. And that is what we mean by holistic education, that we realize like whatever expectations we have, the other members of our family, they also have those types of expectations. And if we are able to realize that, I think we can develop into this holistic mode of education. Thank you.
Very nice, ma'am. Very nice. So I think we are able to see that to have fulfillment in the relationship, there is need for right understanding about relationship. So this is another thing which is required for a human being. So we do require physical facility, we require relationship, and we also require right understanding. So the points that have been raised, to be able to appreciate the expectations of others, right, or to identify the need for physical facility, we need to have something innately in us, something which is there with me in continuity, and that is what we can call as right understanding, on the basis of which I'm able to contemplate upon the feelings in the relationship which can be mutually fulfilling. I'm able to contemplate upon my role with the nature so that I can feel prosperous, I can fulfill the needs of my family. So these are three things required. So there is this proposal from our side that three things are required for a human being: right understanding, which is going to be there in the self, relationship with the human being, and physical facility with the rest of nature. And we're also saying that physical facility is necessary for an animal also, and largely adequate for an animal, but for human being it's necessary but not adequate. So these are three things which are required, which we are proposing from our side. But let me ask you, we can explore and verify here whether all the three are required or something is redundant here. Can we drop anything out of these three? Through the sharing that has come, we can see that we share almost the same vision, isn't it? So let us try to explore this point also, that all the three are required, or we can drop something from here. Yeah, Professor Shukla.
Yeah, we can drop the physical facility here. Actually, we can just think our ancestors are in the time of the Veda. The student are studying in the forest or jungle with their gurus, and they have to feel very happy. Even for the food and other things, Vikshatan type of activity is there, even though they are feeling very happy. So physical facilities are not always required for the happiness. Relationship playing very important things. Understanding also playing a very important thing. Even something the ideal of the individuals. Some are having the and for a student point of view, they also have their ideal of their teachers. And teachers also playing and their idea and attitude and the behavior also playing in an important role in the happiness of the student as well their teaching community.
Yeah, so what I get from your sharing, sir, that even if you look at the Gurukul, it's not that physical facilities was not there, but they were able to work with limited physical facilities. So in fact, it so happens that when we work for right understanding, we are able to identify very clearly the limit of the need for physical facility. Today, since right understanding is not being ensured through education, so that limit is not being identified, and that's how it appears as if the need for physical facility is unlimited. And that's how we are suffering. We are earning too much, we are consuming too much, but at the same time, we are not feeling happy within, we are not having fulfilling relationships. Yeah, very nice, sir. And just try to find out whether, yes, sir.
I mean, as Professor rightly told that, because physical facilities, you can't end the program. I mean, if I have a small TV, I want to go for a big TV. If I have that bathing facility, I want to go for a swimming pool. So that is a non-ending problem. But the relationship, what I want to do that, I want to have a good relationship. I say, Vice Chancellor, I want to go for a student-centric. If the students not understanding our relationship, what we can do that? Number 3, right understanding should be available both the sides. Otherwise, will not be successful.
Oh, actually, Professor, I would like to
I would also
here.
like to share one thing, if I am permitted to. Actually, my point is that we need all 3 things. Right understanding, then only we will be having good relationship. And as far as the physical facilities are concerned, I don't think the concept says that you give 5-star facilities, but at least basic facilities are required. As I am holding the chair of Vice Chancellor, and every day there is a demand by the students that we need certain facilities. Like if we are sitting in a library, the power should be continuous. There should not be any power shutdown. Otherwise, how we will study? So generator is required. Otherwise, there is no mode, or we go to the solar. Solar is also an investment that we can make to provide that kind of physical facility. They want drinking water. So what I mean by physical facility, that we should not think about giving 5-star facilities which are available in some institutions to lure the students, but we should provide minimum basic facilities which are necessary for the upkeep of a human being, because without physical facilities it is not at all possible to survive. So we have to, I think we need all 3. Right understanding about relationship and right understanding about physical facilities. And a balance should be made about all 3 things. Then only the goal of happiness or holistic education can be acquired. Thank you.
Very nice, ma'am. I think that's
just I'd like
point.
to,
Yes. Yes, sir.
I subscribe to the views of Professor Annapurna ji and Professor Shukla ji as well, that physical facilities should be provided, but within the limited physical facility also, we should learn how to remain happy. And the other 2 things, right understanding and relationships. Yeah, okay, that very well, that needed. Right understanding is very much required, and the relationship with human being amongst ourselves, with the society, with the environment, relationship is very, very much important. But as in the ancient times, within very, very limited facility, that students and teachers, both of them, they were very happy. And with more and more facilities, now we are becoming more and more unhappy. So they are coming like that. So within the limited facility, we should learn how to remain happy. So
no, I think it is also only depend on the individuals. After joining in the Meghalaya, I can share, if you give me the 1 or 2 minutes, I can share one story here. I already just visited, I just visited one village, one fisherman, fisherman fishing the fish from the natural tank. I just discuss him. Why are you? I can give you the some project, some good type of seeds and other, and you can increase the production of the fish and other, and you can sell the fish, even though you can earn the money. Then he asked, what happened? So you will be the more happiest. So why I will do this thing? I am already feeling I am happy. I am a happiest man. So yeah, it's only depend on the individuals also. Either they are going to reduce their requirement or desire, or are going to expand their requirement or desire.
Yeah, so I think the basic question is, what would be the priority among these 3? So what do you think? What comes at the first priority? Any sharing on this?
The first priority I will given to the understanding.
Right understanding, G. Yeah. So this is something that we can see, that for a human being, right understanding in the self is the first priority. With right understanding only, I am able to contemplate upon the feelings which can be mutually fulfilling, like things of trust, respect, affection, care, such feelings which are mutually fulfilling. And as rightly pointed out by many of us, that with right understanding only, we are able to make out the limit of the need for physical facility. And one thing to add here, that with right understanding only, I'm able to see what would be the right processes to produce the physical facility, so that it can be mutually fulfilling to the nature also. Our rest of nature, like soil, air, water, birds, animals, they also are enriched in the process. Now with this kind of priority, we'll see that we are able to ensure mutual happiness in our relationship, and we are able to ensure mutual prosperity with the rest of nature. And if this is ensured through education, what else is required? I am happy within, I am happy in my relationships, I feel prosperous within, I enrich the rest of nature. And if this becomes phenomenal, if this becomes universal, so the education has served its purpose, isn't it? But on the other hand, if we only give priority to physical facility, something which has become a kind of phenomenal problem in the education today, then the right understanding is missing, the relationship is missing, then what results is unhappiness within and also making others unhappy in our relations, right? And when it comes to physical facilities, we are into accumulating more and more, exploiting others, right? At the same time feeling deprived within and depriving others. So if the right understanding is removed, the relationship is removed, and we try to focus only on physical facility, then this kind of scenario will emerge. So you'll see that the purpose of education or the role of education is to develop the human consciousness. We all are human beings. We need to know what is our innateness. If I'm able to live up to my innateness, my natural acceptance, then only I'm able to live with human consciousness. Yeah, I think some mic can be muted. So this is the role of education, and that is to ensure human consciousness. And that will be there only when we are able to live with all the three with the correct priority. On the other hand, if one is only working for physical facility, then this is just like living like an animal, and that can be termed as animal consciousness. So we can see that with the literacy on the rise, okay, still there are only two kinds of people to be seen in the society. One set of people are those who are lacking physical facility and they are unhappy and deprived, and we can term them as Suvidha Vihin Dukhi Daridri, SVD square. And the education today is trying to promote people who are having physical facility, but at the same time they are still unhappy and deprived. So they can be termed as Suvidha Sampan Dukhi Daridri, S square D square. So the current day education is at the most able to take people from 1 to 2, and that also not for all. Okay, it's not that everybody is going to have physical facility, because the need for physical facility is not defined, and that's how people are struggling for physical facility but feeling unhappy within, feeling deprived within. So this kind of scenario is there. But what we want to be exactly, if you see, we want to have the physical facility to the limit that is required, but we need to feel happy and prosperous, isn't it? And this can be termed as S power 4. So if you look at the role of education, it is to take the people from 1 or 2 to 3, isn't it? And we can also evaluate where is the society now, where we are right now, at 1, 2, or 3, and where do we want to be. So we'll all agree upon this, that you all want to be at 3, but we may be at 1, 2, or 3 either. And the society, if also we see, could be here somewhere between 1 and 2. Now, if you look at the resources, because you keep on talking about adding more and more resources, okay, multiplying our production, adding to our amenities, but we are able to see, and this is some data that has come from UNO, that the global food production is 6 times the requirement. And they have also studied that the global food wastage is 1/3 of the production. And if you look at the population of the planet at this point of time, it might be something around 650 crores. So the wastage is enough to feed twice the population on the planet. So essentially, it is not the question of production. We have not understood right utilization of the food. It is not the question of production for sure. It is a question of distribution, and distribution means it is a question of relationship. And relationships can be set right only through right understanding. And that's why we need to give the right priority to this particular thing in our education. And the right kind of education is required. And as rightly pointed out by many of us, that the new education policy is targeting at ensuring this particular thing, having a just and equitable society. And for that, this kind of understanding, this kind of competence is required. So we need to transform. We need to transform from what we are doing now to what we really want to be. And this transformation only can be termed as progress. So if you look at the development of nation, if you look at the progress of society, it is not just in terms of adding to the physical facilities. It is when people are able to live with all the three, right understanding, relationship, and physical facility. So whether this transformation is desirable or not, what do you think? Do we need to go for this kind of transformation? And are we really making effort for it? These all questions are very pertinent since we are policymakers of the society, since we are having leading roles in the society. So we need to have a common, clear vision about society. That are we able to transform the human being? Are we able to transform the family, the society in this manner or not? Or we are just talking in terms of adding to the physical facilities? Because when we talk about research, when we talk about development today, we many times forget about the human part of it, and we have to think about that. So you will see that holistic development is a transformation to human consciousness, and this is the role of education. Okay, because this transformation only can ensure definite human conduct, the conduct which can ensure mutually fulfilling behavior and work. So you'll see that this education has to ensure these three things: right understanding in every child, and for that we need to have curriculum, syllabus, programs, practice sessions, right from primary education to the higher education, so that we can ensure the right understanding in every child. We can ensure the capacity to live in relationship with other human beings, and we also need to develop the capacity to identify the need of physical facility, and for that we need to imbibe skills as well as practice for sustainable production. Today we are talking about sustainable production, we are talking about circular production. So we need to talk about sustainability, and this is very simple to see that something which is not sustainable will not sustain. So today the production process, if you see, we are not talking about or not involving renewable processes, renewable materials, and that's why the challenges are appearing. Okay, and there are so many challenges on the planet today. So we need to find out the right skills and practice for sustainable production of more than what is required, so that we can feel prosperous within. At the same time, we can enrich the rest of nature. But a simple appraisal of the current day education will show that the first one is missing. The right understanding is missing. If you make an appraisal of the syllabus also, now you see that hardly we are spending a few hours to develop the right understanding. The capacity to live in relationship is also missing, and the identification of the need for physical facilities is also missing. This is something that has been pointed out by many of us through our sharing, that the students today are not able to identify the need of physical facility. Another thing very important to see, that our students are losing the willingness to produce by way of labor. So the kind of mindset that is there today is that if I'm educated, I don't need to make my hands dirty. If I'm less educated, then I should be making my hands dirty. But if I'm more educated, I should make others make their hand dirty and avoid my hands being dirty, isn't it? So people are trying to avoid labor. The right utilization is also largely missing. We can see the consumption that is on the rise. And the core feeling that is being generated today is to accumulate more and more and to consume more and more. And this again, I think we share a common viewpoint on this, that we are able to see this. And it is not in terms of producing what is required and making the right utilization of that. So this kind of transformation is of course required. And most of the problem that we see around us, you'll see that are really only the symptoms of human beings not living with human consciousness. And that's how the basic effort is required to ensure human consciousness. And that only will result in a human tradition in which the human goal is fulfilled for all of us, generation by generation. And education has to be the building block. Education has to be the starting point. Now, when we talk about right understanding, and this is something that we discuss at length in our full workshop, we need to understand all that is there and what is there. So we want to have harmony in the human beings. We need to understand harmony in the human being. We need to understand how to ensure harmony in the family. In fact, the family structure, the way it is getting degenerated today, has become a very challenging kind of problem for the society. People are fearing marriage. People are fearing progeny. People are fearing living in a joint family. So we need to understand how to sustain our family. We need to understand the harmony in family society, because there are so many feuds, struggles, wars happening today. In fact, nowadays, if you see the war that is taking place in Russia and Ukraine, anytime they can explode the atom or nuclear bomb and maybe a part of the planet is lost. So we need to understand how to ensure harm in the society and also how to preserve the rest of nature. So we need to understand the nature and existence. With this understanding only, we are able to inculcate the right values so that the values guide our living. And when it comes to guiding the living part, then we have to learn the skills, and there we can have professional courses which impart the skills so that they are guided by values. Okay, so it's not that any kind of skill could be useful. We have to see what kind of skill to what limit for what purpose it is going to be utilized, so that we are able to ensure living in harmony at all these levels. And that only will result in mutual happiness, mutual prosperity. That is our basic aspiration. So this is the whole content of the workshop. So from my side, I invite all of you, if time permits, of course, we all are so busy. So if time permits, to come for a full workshop where we can discuss about the right understanding of harmony at all these levels of living, these 4 levels in detail, isn't it? So that it can become an essential component of our education. Now, elaborating upon this, when we have this right understanding in the self for living in harmony at all these levels, then we are able to ensure justice in our relationship. And our competence to ensure justice in the family does not get restrained to the family. Gradually, as we develop with human consciousness, we are able to see the whole world as a family. And this has been a vision in our society for a long time, Vasudha Kutumbakam, to have the whole world as a family. So that my competence to ensure mutual happiness in my mutual relations empowers me to participate in undivided society. At the same time, when I go to participate in the larger order, so I'm able to ensure prosperity in my family, I'm able to ensure orderliness in my family, and it is in such a way that it becomes the building block of the world family order. So the way I develop understanding in me, on one hand, I feel fulfilled within me, I feel happy, I feel satisfied, I feel at peace within. At the same time, I'm able to work for undivided society and universal human order. And you'll see that these are 4 pillars of a tradition of human society. So human education is there, then human conduct, that is sanskar, human constitution, and then human society. So education that ensures the development of the competence to live with definite human conduct, so that we are able to live with human consciousness. This kind of education can only be termed as human education. And with that, we get the competence to ensure the mutual happiness, mutual prosperity, and that ensures human conduct. Now, with that only we are able to make the right kind of policy for the society, which can make or which can help us frame the constitution. And with that only we are able to fulfill the human goal in the society, generation after generation. And when this goal is fulfilled, generation after generation, this is something that we can term as human tradition. And we have been observing the tradition of mankind on this planet, and we still are only desiring for having a tradition that could be mutually fulfilling for human being as well as the rest of nature. So the education is the entry point. And since we all are there in education, in decision making roles, so we have to take a serious note of this. We have to really work for that, and we have to decide something concretely in this direction. So if you look at the key takeaways, so what we talked about, let me just summarize. We talked about the basic aspiration, and we can see it is the continuity of happiness and prosperity. And for fulfillment of this basic human aspiration, 3 things are required with the correct priority. First priority being right understanding in the self. Second thing is relationship with the human being. And the third thing is the physical facility with the rest of nature. And then only we are able to transform to human consciousness at an individual level and to a human society at the societal level. Then only we can say that the development is holistic. And if you look at the role of education sanskar, which is to enable us to develop this competence to fulfill our basic aspiration and to also contribute to the holistic development. And education is the entry point for this kind of society, for this tradition. So proposals are there. So when we come to the full workshop, we share proposals at every level of our living. And the process essentially is self-exploration, nothing to assume as true or false, even though it tallies with some book or some person. It essentially has to be my own understanding, isn't it? So I have to explore within myself, I have to explore, I have to verify. And the desired achievement through such kind of courses, curriculum, syllabus, or workshop or development programs is that we are able to transform at an individual level, and that leads to societal transformation. And since UGC is having so many colleges and so many students enrolled there, so it can play a huge role in transforming the entire society. But before I conclude, I'll only say that this is a proposal, right? And we need to verify at our own right. And I hope the dialogue has already started in each one of us. And the purpose of this workshop is to strengthen this internal dialogue. So if any comment is there on this, I can take up with the limitation of time.
Can I speak, sir?
Ji, sir. Ji, sir.
I'm really greatly impressed by your underlining things in a very decorated manner, particularly with right understanding, relationship, and physical facility, providing physical facility. All 3 points will ultimately lead to natural acceptance, a human consciousness, and separating us from other living beings. So very well presented. I must appreciate, I must congratulate. Sir, but let me go back to our ancient times, where we have a very important book, which was written by Vishnu Sharman, this Panchatantra. So he explained about, 5 quality. Quality is not policy, rather quality. Quality is what? Making friends is the first chapter, and naturally we are emphasizing need of friendship again and again within classroom, outside classrooms, and then losing friend. If you lose a friend, this gives a lot of pain. So one should not lose friend. Number 2. Then of crow and owl, the third quality is that we should not behave like crows, selfishness, and then owls, foolishness. So therefore, these 2 are to be avoided. Then loss of gain. This is 4th chapter in Panchatantra. Whatever you have earned, even in terms of relationship, when you have built up your relationship, if you have inducted one more person in your family, in your house, then you should give room and you should not lose it, you see. And then the final one is rash action. Immediate reaction is not very conducive for any individual, for any society, for any group, for any family, for any school, for any college, for any institution. So these are making an ecosystem, checking, balancing everything. And that's how we should see in your 3-point program, and which will be very useful. And I hope we will not forget the role of Panchamrita even today, which is badly needed. Thank you, sir.
Nice, sir. So I conclude here. Now it is over to Rajul Bhaiya or Umesh Bhaiya. Please proceed with the session. Ji.
Yes, thank you, Kumar Bhaiya, for that important input, that the education is not to just prepared for the job, but the education is to prepare for the life, and job is a part of it. So physical facilities not only are necessities, but relationship and right understanding are also necessary. And in fact, when we look into the priority order, the right understanding relationships are the higher priority along with the physical facilities. So thank you so much for your insights shared with us. If anyone has any sort of sharing on the sessions done by Kumar Bhaiya, then we can listen to one or two sharings. Okay, so now we can proceed for the next part of our today's 2 hours workshop. Now we would like to invite Dr. Rajneesh Aroraji, Chairman NCCIP, for his talk on holistic value-based education.
Thank you, Umeshi.
Namaste, sir.
Thank you. Namaste. Thank you. Honorable Vice Chancellors of Central Universities, and I have been told by UGC that so many teachers and students are also participating in this workshop through Twitter Live and YouTube Live. Today we are talking about a very important subject of value education as per new education policy expectations. Umeshi, please share my slides. As we all know that when we see National Education Policy document, the very first page, first line talks about that education is fundamental for achieving full human potential, developing an equitable and just society, and promoting national development. Just on the page 3 when we start this policy document as such. Now these aspirations, when we move, just previous slide please, previous slide. Actually, this all comes from that we all feel that there's a need for a change in the whole society. And today's society that is equitable and just. Now this need it's urgent and it is important. And this National Education Policy document has articulated it very well. While the change has to take place at every level, teachers, students, academic institutions, policy makers, parents, families, the whole society with its systems. But it is the education system that can play a critical role. I'm just starting from where the Kumar Sambhavji ended, that education is the entry point for societal transformation. The 3 expectations in national education policy are: at the level of individual human being, we must be able to have full human potential. That means the development at the level of human consciousness also, where the validation is that our students, our next generation, our children should be able to feel happiness and prosperity in continuity in their life. As Kumar Sambhavji mentioned, that it is through right understanding and through right feeling at the every individual, at the level of every individual. When we talk about equitable and just society, so one is happiness in every individual, and we must have conditions of happiness in the society where in every family there must be feeling of prosperity, that yes, I have the ability to produce more than what is required for my family. So without that condition in my family, it becomes very difficult to feel happy in my family, that the feeling is not possible. And at the a feeling of fearlessness in the society. And the third condition for happiness is that when we interact with nature and existence, we must have feeling of coexistence, mutual fulfillment. Then only we can have equitable and just society. So this is the responsibility of education, that our students and teachers, they can understand about happiness and the conditions of happiness both. Now, the third expectation in National Education Policy document is promoting national development. Now, what do we mean by national development? So, national development means harmony within the nation, and we are able to become complementary to other nations. We are able to help other nations to have harmony within themselves. So then only we can become a developed nation, which is our concept of Vishwaguru, that we are harmonious within ourselves and we can help others to be harmonious. Now, this expectation from education is to prepare people competent to fulfill these aspirations. So this is the holistic value-based education as per expectations of national education policy today. Just to see it in another way, when we talk about full human personality, which is to be developed by humane education and sanskar, the first step is to have right word vision, which means the right understanding, that is this word is just as per competition or cooperation? Is this word for harmony or conflict? This right understanding must start with the student. Then only they can have right kind of perspective to see things around, to see things in family, at the workplace, or in the neighborhood and in the society at large. Based on their word vision, they will be able to identify right values. What is valuable for me and what is my value in the larger order. on that basis, on the basis of those values, I can participate in the larger order meaningfully. So on the basis of values, our participation becomes valuable. On the basis of this vision and values, we are able to have ethical reasoning. Just to know about some ethical things is not clear unless I am clear about my vision and values. And this ethical reasoning leads to right kind of conduct in our life. And such competent people, they lead to equitable and just society at all levels, at the level of village, block, city, district, state, nation, as Kumar Sambhavji pointed about, the concept of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. That is the stages. Step by step, we move towards that word family concept. And today, that leads to national development if we go from vision, right vision and values. Today in our education system, this is the crucial missing link. We talk about ethical reasoning for some aspects. We talk about talking about the skills, more and more skills, but without vision and without values, there is a question mark on reasoning and conduct part of it. And that's, we all see around ourselves. There's a question mark regarding development of equitable and just society and national development also. Now, this effort of value-based education is in 3 steps. One is to have clarity about universal human values. Here in this course, which AICTE has experimented in technical educations, and now UGC is also taking this initiative to take it forward to all the teachers and students in our university system, that these values are universal. This understanding, relationship, and physical facility thing, it is universal. It is applicable in Asia, Australia, America, Africa, or Europe. It is not only for India. It is not only for Kashmir or Tamil Nadu. It is not only for this religion or that religion. It is common to all. And it is rational in nature. It is not based on any dogmas, not based on beliefs, but it appeals to human reasoning. So these are universal, these are rational, and these are verifiable. If we try to live accordingly, we get the desired results. We get that kind of individual transformation or transformation at the level of society. And it leads to harmony at all levels. Within ourselves, we resolve our conflicts within ourselves, resolve conflict in family, resolve conflict in society, resolve conflict in the nation. So this is the first step, understanding of universal human values. Then taking case studies from our own surroundings, from our own history, from our own culture, from Indian knowledge system, from our own families and from our own neighborhoods. So these case studies help the students to develop their right understanding about relationship and physical facilities. And then guided by those values, guided by those universal values, then we can try to learn about the world-class skills, such skills which are nature-friendly skills and human-friendly skills. So human-friendly management practice and nature-friendly technologies, so those can be developed, those can be learned in our institutions, and such competent people can help to have equitable and just society at all levels and a developed nation which is harmonious within ourselves and complementary to other nations. So that's the way to have holistic value-based education. A full document has been prepared by AICTE. It is part of the handouts. That link is there in the chat box. You can copy that link at your place. And we would like to have your feedback and your comments later. It's a big document, 200 plus pages. So which provides details about the course content. This one session of Kumar Sambhavji was just a glimpse of the whole issue. It is not only the trailer, it is just the poster of the film. I invite you, all of you, for these kind of workshops which we conduct for teachers. Now, this is the result of efforts of last 40 years. I'm happy to share with you that this human values thing started, last slide please. In 1980s, when Professor R.R. God started a course on science and humanism at IIT Delhi, I was fortunate to be part of that first course by Professor P.L. Dhar and Professor R.R. God. It was science and humanism. In 2001, MHRD started National Resource Center for Value Education and Engineering at IIT Delhi and centers at NCRT and IIM Lucknow. Then 2-semester course on human values was started at IIIT Hyderabad by Professor Rajiv Sangal in 2005. In 2006, there was a conference at IIT Delhi where Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, then President of India, was the chief guest. He mentioned about this course in his presidential address on Republic Day in 2007. In 2009, UP Technical University, when Professor Premvrat was Vice Chancellor, and after that Professor Vinay Pathak was Vice Chancellor there, they implemented it in all the affiliated colleges. In 2010, Punjab Technical University, I was Vice Chancellor there then. We had this 1-semester course on universal human values. We translated it in Punjabi also, and it was available to students in Punjabi, Hindi, English, and it can be done in all the regional languages in the country. In 2012, Bhutan took up this course when Dasho Prema Thinleji, who was and also Queen Mother of Bhutan, they found it deeply resonating with their concept of gross national happiness. So Royal University of Bhutan, where Dasho Premaji was Vice Chancellor for some time, and Anti-Corruption Commission, Royal Civil Services Commission, Youth Development Department, they all adopted this course for their national education system as such. So this is a UHV journey in mainstream education. Then 2012, Himachal Pradesh Technical University, Professor Shashi Riman was Vice Chancellor then. 2017, AICTE took it up, this value education for value-based living. They made it compulsory for all the technical colleges. 2018, Bikaner Technical University, Professor H.D. Charan was Vice Chancellor. He adopted in their academic council. In 2020, it was really a kind of revolution. During Corona, it changed to Valiona for AICTE. When 50,000 teachers participated in 5-day online courses. Now every Monday it starts and till Saturday it is there. And 2020 NEP was announced. So Madhya Pradesh School Education System jointly with their Rajya Anand Sansthan, they started just from January, February onwards. And now from May onwards, UGC is also taking it to the university system in the country. And this is the first workshop of Vice Chancellors of Central University. And I'm sure that now the speed will be much higher as compared to earlier. I was given this responsibility to share with you this journey of universal human values. Actually, it's a 3-step implementation program. Step 3 is value-based living. This is the target. Living in harmony, participation in family, institution, society, nation, world for harmony. Ensuring human education for the next generation from family itself. So value-based living is a target. To reach that target, we will have value-based education. That is organizing the whole curriculum, the curriculum of psychology, sociology, economics, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, law, medicine. This whole curriculum on the basis of values for living in harmony. Holistic value-based education, practice of living in harmony, doing projects, social internships, etc. in that direction. And but it all starts with the first step. We are at step 1 now, and this is value education. That is incorporating values in existing curriculum. This is the expectation from each university to pass it in their academic council, in their board of studies, to have a 3-credit course our experience is to have it in the first semester itself. Then it prepares the students for their next 3 years or 4 years at the undergraduation level. And in this step, last slide, please. I'll just share about the first step only. Incorporating case studies of harmonious living from Indian knowledge system and incorporating practice and skill development as per the value guidance. So step 1, 2, 3. We are at step 1 now. Next. In AICTE, we started with student induction program of 3 weeks. In UGC, we have Diksha Rambha program for 1 week. And at AICTE, it is 9 module program with core program as Universal Human Values and Indian Knowledge System. And we have faculty mentor program where 1 faculty to mentor 20 newly joined students for all semesters. And student buddy program, 1 senior student to be an elder sibling to 5 new joined students, and their weekly meetings, student activity cell to guide various clubs in the desired direction as per right understanding. And second is, this is UHV2, which is a 3-credit course, 1 semester. The name of the course in AICTE is Understanding Harmony and Ethical Human Conduct. And now AICTE has taken this initiative to have many more courses, to have a minor degree with 18 credits in UHV. This is, first is UHV3, Understanding Human Being, Nature and Existence comprehensively. UHV4, Vision for Humane Society. These are various courses being offered as optional courses. Human values in various philosophies, Jain philosophy, Buddha philosophy, Sikh philosophy, that kind of in various darshans. Human psychology for realizing the full human potential. Then UHV 7A, Holistic Health, Philosophy and Practice. 7B is Human Sociology for the tradition of human culture and civilization. And UHV 8 is Human Economics for sustainable and mutually fulfilling production and management systems. So we expect that there should be a UHV cell, Universal Human Values cell, for coordinating all UHV related efforts in essential at the university and college level. To do all these things, the basic thing is faculty development. We have in this session Professor Archana Thakurji, who is heading faculty development programs through UGC, HRDC programs. During Corona, when we had 5-day faculty development programs online, more than 120,000 teachers registered for those programs. About 76,000 attended, and out of them, 41,745, they qualified it as mentors, the first introductory workshop. And those who completed the second 1-week program, they were 9,681. And those who completed 3 weeks program, they were 7,410. The details, region-wise details are also provided, and it is being monitored in AICTE. Similar things are required in UGC system also. And these all faculty development programs are being conducted by volunteer resource persons. No resource person is charging even a single penny from AICTE. It is all being done pro bono without any honorarium. Approximately 150 man years were volunteered in 2 years. So that means more than 75, actually the number is 200. When I say the full time, if we say, so it will be equivalent to 150 man years in 2 years. It is all being done by the volunteer resource persons. So this was the thing I wanted to share with you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I am sorry that I have taken little more time which was allocated to me. We have other speakers also. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Professor Rajneesh Arora, NCCIP Chairman. And now I would like to call upon Shri Rajul Asthana Bhaiya, NC UHV Deputy Chairman, to take us to the final session of this 2 hours workshop. This session is focused on sharing experiences, takeaways, recommendations, and the way forward. Over to you, Radivya.
Yeah, thank you, Umeshji, and warm welcome to all our colleagues. It's very important that we all discuss this issue, this important issue, and your sharing today has been really very wonderful. And we can see that your concern and your, interest in going forward in this direction is very strong. So some of the possible next steps with which Gokuji has already shared, I just want to mention that to implement the aspirations that are articulated in the national education policy, we have to do a lot of specific work, and some of that is mentioned on this slide. And UGC has already done a lot of work on the Diksharam, on the Mulya Pravah. So this is in continuation with all of that work. Only the implementation part is being strengthened by the effort of AICTE. And in particular, the preparation of faculty with these sort of targets, we can place specific targets. I understand that there are many challenges that are there, and they will be there. So we have to be quite creative about it. But we need to definitely prepare ourselves and our faculty members in this direction. So some of the targets I would mention are preparing faculty mentors in the ratio of 1:20. That means one faculty member for every 20 newly joined students from every department. So faculty members, not only from the HSS department, but from every department, every teaching department, so that, as Rajneeshji mentioned, that we can go from value education to value-based education in the near future, maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years, or some of the advanced universities might do it in 1 year. So that preparation is very important. So preparing ourselves and also preparing the faculty members. And to start with the faculty mentors in the ratio of 1:20. So that is one important thing I wanted to mention. But now I think I'll also mention that these faculty development programs are now being offered jointly by UGC and AICTE. The certificates, etc., all of them are going to have this, that they are joint programs of AICTE and UGC. And these programs are going to be included for the faculty advancement, the CAS. So they will be counted towards that. Those details will be shared soon. The handouts, we have already written this one. The link is there. You can download those handouts, and we'll be sending more details by email. When we started this 2-hour workshop, it was essentially that you have a good idea about the significance of this effort. You have a clarity about the content and the process. And of course, you feel the need for this effort, but to underscore that point and to take it forward in your universities. So now, would request those of you who would like to share your feedback and commitments, and your ideas and suggestions are most welcome in the feedback. So when we are sharing right now, perhaps we can focus on these 3 things: your brief introduction, your takeaways, and the future plans, if you'd like to share 1 or 2 important things. So we'll try to provide opportunity to all of us who are here, so who would like to share. So I'd like to welcome all of you one more time for the sharing session. So whoever would like to share, I can see Professor Sayed, his hand is raised. So if you'd like to share, sir, you are welcome. or anybody else who would like to share? Yes, Latika Sharma ji, please go ahead. Or VCCUHP.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are very much audible.
This is Professor Vishal Sood from Registrar from Central University of Himachal Pradesh.
Yes.
Regarding this value-based education, I just want to apprise that our universities are already having these human-making courses at PG level. And as per the discussion which was held today in this workshop, we will definitely go for creation of that UHB cell and the value-based courses, 3 credit courses. We will definitely go for that designing of those courses, and accordingly we will try to introduce these courses once the guidelines and the directions from UGC will be received. But our university is already running at PG level these type of courses which are value based on universal human values, and these are with the name of human making courses. So this just I want to apprise, and we'll definitely go with the UGC guidelines once these will be circulated, and accordingly we'll proceed with that. Thank you.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you so much. It's lovely to find out that you're already doing this. Professor Shashi Dhiman is your colleague in I think Hamirpur.
He was with the Himachal Pradesh University, Shimla. Now he has been recently appointed as Vice Chancellor of Himachal Pradesh Technical University.
Yes. So you are close by colleagues, so you can have a discussion with him also. Best wishes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Nice. Latika Sharma ji. Yes, Latika ji, your mic is muted. Yeah, please go ahead.
Namaskar, sir. I'm Latika Sharma from Department of Education, Punjab University, attending this wonderful program on behalf of my university. Sir, the sessions which were going on today were really informative, and I would like to share that ever since 2014, Punjab University, with the active collaboration of its interdisciplinary Center for Swami Vivekananda Studies and Sri Ramchandra Mission has been conducting self-development programs. And in this meditation, time management, and what we are saying 21st century skills for youth, they were being taught to the students. Now that we have a structured program for UG and PG level, we are looking forward to guidelines from UGC. Already we are in the process of implementation of NEP, and when we are discussing value-based courses, value-added courses, there are lots of suggestions which are coming about Indian knowledge systems and about happiness. So today's program has been an eye-opener on what all is already going on at the national level in various universities. And it is such a good collaboration that UGC and AICTE are together going to have faculty development programs. So we are looking forward to such programs so that teachers who are in an orientation mode now and are looking forward to what next, how to go about it, they will benefit a lot. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Very true, Latika ji. It's very important that as the head of the institution, we also spend sufficient amount of sort of effort in appraising ourselves and getting to sort of discuss about all the things that are happening around the country, so that we can have a sort of common minimum program all across. So with that, I would like to invite Professor H.T. Charan, who is the chairperson of the National Committee on UHP, who was the previous Vice Chancellor of Bikaner Technical University. for your sharing and also for your comments on what has been said already.
Thank you, Rajulji. Honorable all the Vice Chancellors of Central University. I, as a Vice Chancellor, I had experience with the conduct of UHV and the training of the teachers. And that real experience, of course, I wanted to share with all of you. When I started this course, of course, my university is affiliating university, Technical University of the State of Rajasthan, covering half of the Rajasthan, all the technical courses conducted through AICTE, engineering, MBA, MC, hotel management, like that. So, being a Vice Chancellor, of course, I have introduced this 3 credit course, mandatory course, to all the stream, not only engineering, but MBA, MC, hotel management, design, all the students. I thought that it's required for each and every student. And the very moment I thought that who will teach it? Then I find that the training of the teachers, that education of teachers in this course is very important. So, along with myself, my dean directors, we went to attend the course at IIT Kanpur, 8 days regular course since morning 9 o'clock to 6 o'clock evening. And then, of course, had a workshop for all the teachers, not only teachers who are teaching, but all the teachers, because this is required for each and everyone for his own living and the living in the family, in the workplace. And all the faculty members of my constant college, they had undergone this workshop. And if I consider the university as a whole, there's a affiliating university covering half of the Rajasthan, around 40% of the teachers undergone this workshop. And the results is very much encouraging. The teacher has understood their role and responsibility towards the student, towards the campus, workplace, and life was become very harmonious. One very important example, of course, I would like to share that how they feel their responsibility. During COVID, they realized that they should conduct a workshop for students also, that week-long workshop for the students. And they started workshop for the student. For that, they had a large preparation at their own. And after going from one workshop and sharing from the students, they realized the students are very much connected to this very first of the relationship and understanding themselves and their role. And it was very much interesting. And not only students, we have also requested students that because it was COVID, they were at home. We requested students if their parents and the younger elder brothers, sisters wanted to join, they can join. So some of the students, they were asking for one more link. We asked me why you are asking for another link. They were telling my mother and father after listening this first day they wanted to listen it sit separately and listen it. And at the end when we had sharing from the parents, they were telling that this is very important. This is required for each and everyone. At least aadmi to ban jaye. Then the teachers who had done this workshop for the student, not only 1-2 students, almost 80% of the students per total university, they have conducted one week-long workshop. And for that, they had to have a large number of exercise, hard work, without any expectation, without any extra remuneration. And those teachers, out of those who has gone for higher workshop, they are also contributing at national level as a resource person without expecting any remuneration. So that has created a lot of change. So of course, there are a lot of examples, but at this stage, of course, I wanted to tell to the all vice chancellors, with my best of the experience, that you are the very strong link in between an implementation of MEP and finally going to the students. You can are positioned to go through the academic council and implement this 3-credit course. Then of course higher courses are also there. And but before that, it's very important that all faculty members are supposed to go through the workshop. That will not only will be useful for the teaching the course, but to increase the relationship and to enhance the relationship, to have a conducive environment in your institute, in the university. That's a required, very much required. So that will be very much useful if you start that you encourage your faculty members to go through the online workshop we are conducting now through UGC and AICTE. And already, as we mentioned that large number of workshop, around 75,000 teachers, more than 75 teachers. So this one thing you can very well quickly can start, that you can motivate your faculty members to go the workshop, and then at least start a initial course, introductory course at your level. So this will help a lot. So this will, and we are here to help you in any way about course content, teaching material, process, everything, whatever help you require through UGC, through AICTE, we are here to help this. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Charanji. Now it is almost time just to reiterate what you have said, that these possible steps can be taken at each of the universities, and that the joint faculty development programs that are taking place, they can be participated not only by the faculty, but the senior management also. So you are most welcome to participate in all of these workshops. I would like to also introduce two people who are going to be in touch with you, in addition to Professor Gopu Kumar and Archana Thakurji and Dr. Diksha Rajput from AICTE. Umesh Jadavji, he will be in touch with you. He was the moderator for this session also, so you are familiar with his voice, and he will be discussing in more detail. Also, Assistant Registrar from Punjab Technical University, Jitendra Narulaji, they will be in touch with you. So I'd like to introduce them. And now I would call upon Professor Gopu Kumarji for closing remarks and a vote of thanks. So Gopu Kumarji.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
So we had
anything else that you want to add, you are most welcome. This is your program. Okay. So welcome, Gopu Kumarji. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. We had a wonderful 2-hour discussion on holistic value-based education. And glad to propose this vote of thanks on behalf of UGC and the AICTE. First of all, let me we thank the Honorable Chairman UGC and Honorable Secretary UGC for their constant support and encouragement in organizing this today's program. And heartfelt thanks to Professor Rajneesh Arora ji, Chairman National Coordination Committee, for participating and delivering a lecture on holistic value-based education for holistic development. Special thanks goes to Dr. Kumar Sambhavji for delivering a lecture on holistic development and role of education. And thanks also to Sri Rajul Asthanaji, HD Charanji, and all members of National Coordination Committee, and Sri Umesh Jadavji for nicely moderating today's session, and the entire team working behind the scene for the success of today's program, especially Sri Jitendra Narulaji for his efficient coordination. And I especially thank all respected Vice Chancellors of Central Universities who have participated in today's program and actively discussed the various issues in this program. And apart from that, all those who have joined through UGC's YouTube and Twitter today from universities and colleges from across the country, I thank you all once again. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Gopu Kumarji. We still have few minutes, and if anybody else would like to say, we are going to stay for some more time. If you permit, then we'll stay for some more time if there are any questions or any other comments.
Rajulji, please tell them about the feedback form if they can fill up. It is not opening.
Yeah, so that is, feedback form is not opening.
Yes, I also tried. Madam Latika also said.
Okay, it will become active as soon as we close the session. It is probably not active right now. And if there is a problem, we will put it on the same link.
If the session ends, sir, the chat box will close and then we won't be able to access the link.
If you can copy the link in your browser, right, or you can copy it on a in a Word file or something. You can have that link.
Sir, it will be better if you please send the link through emails.
Yes, yes, that's a good idea. We'll do that
much
also.
Better to send.
Surely we'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
So with that, we can close for today. Many thanks to everyone. Umesh, over to you.
Dr.
Yes, Gopu Kumar, you're saying something.
Kumarji. Hello. Hello, Dr. Gopu Kumarji.
Sir.
Yes, I think this feedback form, so that is optional to be sent. That is optional.
But we request all of you to kindly fill it up. Of course, optional, but we request all of you to kindly fill it up.
Yes, yes.
So that we could know your opinion about this.
Yes, sir. So in a nutshell, so it was a very, very thought-provoking program. So I'm from Gangtok, a professor of botany, and congratulations to everybody.
Right. So many thanks to all who attended and wish you all the very best. We are signing off now from New Delhi. Best wishes.
Thank you, sir.
Namaste.
Thank you, Gopu Kumarji. Thank you. Thank you all.